Hello, and we're live with a brand new podcast. I'm super excited that we were able to make this happen. Uh, all new, rebranded podcast, the new and improved State of Emergency podcast. I'm here with my main man, my first guest on the show. A pleasure to always talk to him. Jorge, welcome to the first episode of the State of Emergency podcast. Thank you for coming on the
Oh,
show, man.
hello. I'm here.
Yeah. So, a little bit of background about how we got this new podcast, right? Uh,
Yeah.
the new podcast came from the what's going on in the world. That it has two meanings. Everybody is in a state of emergency, and the world is in a state of emergency. And
Yes.
so I said I had to revamp and rebrand the podcast, new logo. It's exciting times, man. This podcast.
This is. It's
So
the
what's going on, man? Thank you for coming on the show.
it's just been hectic trying to figure out how to move around the country. There's some emergency driving needs to be done, so try to figure out some paperwork how to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get a you have to be sneaky now about how you're supposed to travel around the country at the moment.
Exactly.
But it's a uh, I think it's the fifth day of the state of emergency in the country, and every day I don't know if you have the same feeling, but it seems like with this state of emergency, does it feel like for you that the days blend together?
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking like, what day is it? Like it's a Saturday, Sunday feels like first day, one day feels like Sunday. So it cannot be first day then Sunday, and
Yeah,
after Sunday, Saturday. I mean, like you don't even know what's going on. I mean, all the days are quiet and no cars and people nowhere.
I know. Usually the traffic every day is usually around, around like 4 o'clock. It's usually really busy around town. There's nobody. It's like a ghost town usually now.
Exactly. So they saying that people don't follow the rules, but I think they do. They scared shitless.
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people follow the rules.
Yeah.
I think the majority of the people follow the rules as best they can in a
Right.
way, you know,
Yeah.
because there's got to be certain situations where the rules have to be kind of gray area because of work or traveling because of doctors and things like that. So the rules have to be kind of adaptable in some way.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly. Bendable.
Bendable. There's always a gray area.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I feel like as the lockdowns and the state of emergency gets longer and longer, I feel like Tom Hanks in that Castaway movie. I'm just like ticking off the days.
I know on the bamboo stick. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that. I feel like we're on our own little isolated islands.
Another thing by chances. The die and this fucking village.
Well, don't start drawing bloody hands on your soccer balls quite yet, my friend.
I know.
Oh man, dude. But I think it's a great time. I think it's a great time now that when you're at home. It's a great time to kind of work on yourself, like your body. Get some exercise in.
And if you can, I mean, the motivation is kind of low. That too. I mean, I have exercise bikes. I've all kinds of stuff. It's just been sitting there and dust collecting. I mean, nobody wants to do anything.
Yeah. So you don't get any motivation to get up onto the
Yeah,
exercise
no,
bikes.
not at all.
Oh well, what would get you motivated to get exercise on those things?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But this definitely doesn't.
Well, I think because I've been into that room where you've got those bikes. I mean, you got them facing a gray wall, man. You don't even have them facing the window.
Well, that's kind of I can do some painting on the wall.
You
Then
should
when it
you
gets
should
snow,
you should paint a mural or something,
yeah, exactly. Like I'm in Bahamas or something.
Right, and then maybe then you'll get motivated.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak at the moment down in that room.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, I mean, I know, but it's I think it's a great time now to have like for example, the idea comes for this podcast from this lockdown. It's a great time to have conversations and be creative and
Sure. Well,
yeah, it's not a time to just give up and look at everything in a bleak way.
right. Yeah, you can figure out some new ways how to start something, but for a lot of people, it's like they don't have much. Most people don't have kind of anything to push on, but a lot of people like to work on the yards. A lot of people try to remodel the house, but all of these things are closed, so it's like you can do anything.
Are the
Yeah.
garden shops closed?
Well, garden shop's kind of not closed, but
Yeah.
anything else like for the repair stuff, you can order a lot of stuff on the internet. But you know how that is. A lot of people are reluctant to buy something on the internet,
And
especially like colors or tiles or flooring or whatever it is for house. They
sure.
like,
I mean,
they like to kind of see it.
yeah, and you want to kind of like look at it because you want to know how it's going to probably go with your with your surrounding furniture or
Right, exactly.
how it's going to match and
Yeah.
because I don't know, have you ever bought anything on the internet with colors and then when you got it in the mail it wasn't the color that you expected?
No, not really. I don't buy clothes or shoes or anything like that. So it would be something maybe industrial, which I don't really care.
Right.
Yeah, for that kind of matter.
Yeah.
And the size is what it is, what it is. I mean, say if you can measure a little bit, and if it's meter long or whatever, then that it is what it is. So that kind of not surprising, but like you said, especially on colors and sizes and what you mean you want to get. I mean, I know you can exchange it, but how many people make that same mistake? What do you think you're gonna get somebody else's color, somebody else's clothing who didn't fit? They send it to you.
Right. Well, and also the problem with colors as well is because everybody has a different computer and every monitor uh,
Yeah,
projects different colors.
sure.
It can handle colors differently, like high definition or high definition. The colors
Exactly.
look different on the monitor, and then when you get it, you're like, "Wow, I thought it was, I don't know, it looked orange, but it's actually like
Right.
dark red or something like that."
Exactly.
It, with clothing, it's a little bit different, but that's correct. I mean, if you have like a, I don't know, industrial material where you don't really need to know the color or the
Right.
size, and you can
Right.
mend
If
it, then I think
you order a garden hose, I mean, who cares what it is?
right, exactly.
Offshoot yellow or offshoot green, I don't care. Okay, it's a
Y-
hose.
Yeah, and as long as it's the length that you need it, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Those kind of
But
things are okay.
yeah, exactly. Where it doesn't matter what the color is, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you need like a little water pot that's brown or gray or something,
Right.
that doesn't matter. But I know. I mean, it's so the time now. It's where a lot of people are at home, and this would be a great time for people to like paint their homes or redecorate or uh,
Right.
people like to build stuff like furniture or small models or hobbyists, and they don't have a
Mhm.
chance at the moment.
Right.
to build these things, and it's kind of demotivating for people.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, the motivation sometimes is hard just to do something for yourself, even if you don't have to do this, but this is just depressing. So it's
Yeah,
not,
it's good,
you know,
and
you have
it
a lot
hits
of
hard.
times on your hands, but you really don't know how to use it.
Sure. And I think a lot of it comes with that people don't know how to use the time because a lot of options are not available to them, you know?
Mhm.
Like if you want to build like a birdhouse, for example, but you can't go to the hardware store to buy the necessary wood and
Right.
paint for it. So people would use the time to build a birdhouse, for example, but you can't because you are not able to go to the stores to do that. Or people like to brew like home brewing beer, for example, but you can't go to the necessary stores to buy the equipment to do it.
Right. And ordering online something like that is kind of a like same thing. You don't really know what you're buying
Right. I mean, if especially
or
if you
how
want to
to.
start home brewing, you want to
Right.
look at those things personally because
That,
those things are expensive.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's
and it's
ex-
an expensive hobby.
Mhm. Well, if you want a good brew, it's gonna be right.
Right. So if you want a good brew, you got to buy the like top of the line equipment.
Yeah, but they don't even have like the small ones. Like I saw like on the YouTube, like they have like really really small ones. There's some small brew like for I don't know like a small keg, 20 liters, something like that. That would be perfect to do.
Mhm.
But I don't know if they really work. The potential that you can actually drink it, but they could be fun.
Well, I had a friend. Well, he's still my friend, but I don't talk to him that much. And he did home brewing,
Right.
and he had the equipment and to do it. And he had like a bottle machine, and he had like, I mean, it was like a small time operation. It's not that there's so much involved. Like he had a bottle cap,
Hmm.
uh, a bottle cap placer, you know, to seal
Right.
it, and he
Right.
had bottles that he got from the local brewery. He got the
Okay.
he got the hops, he got the barley, uh,
Hmm.
and he had a he brewed. What are those? How much are those big containers that you put out in your garden to collect rainwater? How big are those? Like
Oh, like
50
50 gallons or
yeah, 50
yeah,
gallons or something like that.
200 liters, you
So he
know.
brewed about 200 liters of beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
But
that's a good size.
it was a lot, but sometimes when he brewed it, it didn't taste like beer.
Hmm.
And the reason why it didn't taste like beer is because during the process of his home brewing, I don't know, he either had dirty plastic
Hmm.
or he had what he said is when he cleaned the barrels, he it had to be completely dry. Otherwise, the when the water mixes with when the beer is fermenting, and if water hits it, it didn't it wouldn't make the beer taste good because of the chemicals or something. So like sometimes his beer was great and sometimes his beer was not so great depending on if there was oxygen hitting on it or
Yeah,
water mixing. It's difficult.
yeah. The cleanliness, it's hard to achieve.
Yeah.
Not just you don't make clean it, you clean it, but similar with some kind of little bacteria or something like that can sit in some corner or whatever and completely ruin everything.
Right, and that's what happened. So like, but he doesn't know it, right? He can't know it until he tastes the
Right,
beer,
sure.
right? So, and he was doing it in his garage. Well, the garage is not the most sterile place, and so when he but he was close. He was really close. Like it had hints of that it was tasting like beer,
Right.
but it was either too much water or it was really, really bitter for no reason.
Hmm.
Yeah, and or it was like less alcohol, but there was still that beer taste. Like you could tell that it was starting to taste like beer.
Mm-hmm.
But because of what the equipment he had, he didn't. I mean, he was
Just need to
homebrewing.
perfect it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't know how. He didn't know how because he didn't know at that time. Maybe now he's perfected it, but at the time he didn't know where the problem was.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't know if it was a problem of the brewing process or if it was a problem of him cleaning all of his
Mhm.
equipment.
Yeah. Sometimes
But
something like this you have to call professional because he can tell you. It might be a like good way to
well,
get
yeah,
back on track if you
right,
really
exactly.
are doing some bigger value of the beer or all that thing. So
Well, I'm sure that if he called like an expert, like at a brewery, and say, "Hey, come taste my beer," and they tasted the beer, I'm sure that that person would be well. First of all, that person would be able to tell you what's going wrong in your process of brewing.
yeah,
But I'm sure after he tasted or she tastes the beer, they'll able to tell you like, okay, you have to add this, this, and they would know probably just by the taste
right.
what you need to
And
add.
looking at the equipment too, what you starting with and how you mix it and stuff. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I'm sure that if somebody came and looked at your equipment, they'd be like, well, you need this, you need that, maybe a little bit of this, less, and you know. But it was real interesting of what type of beer he was making. It was beer. I mean, he made beer.
Mhm.
And you could tell that it was starting to taste like beer, but it wasn't quite beer.
Mhm.
That would be like making, I don't know, hard alcohol, and you could tell that it's hard alcohol, but it's not quite quality or standard or
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
If you s- starting, so you will
Well,
have
you
to
have to
have
start.
some glitches on that.
Well, you have to start somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
uh, but this is a great time. This is
It's a
a
good
great
fun
time.
for that. Yeah.
You have to have fun with it, and and to work on. If you're a self-motivated person, it's a great time to work on yourself because it's fun. It's fun to converse. It's fun to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You
it
know,
makes you.
it
Yeah,
and
that's
it makes it fun. To talk and have conversations about different topics.
exactly. So you can create something on your own, makes you feel better
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
That's the point.
Well, the point is to always, my sort of philosophy is how to always make something better or to improve on yourself. Or if you've already improved, how can you even improve yourself more?
Right. Sure.
Y- and once you get to this is a this is a project that I'm involved in, and it's only going to get better if we just keep having conversations about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the studio. I've got my studio here, and it's great.
Yeah, and then you have, we have to improve it the way that there is topics to talk about and make it uh, kind of interesting and funny and so you can learn something. As you always say, like if and every conversation you should learn something off of it. So that's kind of what I like about those.
Yeah, well, every conversation you have, that's what's great about having a conversation, because having a conversation, look, we are humans, and we are the only creatures on the earth that have the ability to express ourselves with words and languages. There's lots of languages, but we're able to converse and make sounds that are intelligible speech for everybody.
Right.
So why not use it?
Exactly.
You know?
Well,
It's
yeah, I just listened to Jordan Peterson on he was somewhere in Sweden speaking about equality and about differences between male and female and stuff. But interesting was that he's surprised that as much we communicate, that there is a peace on the world is very, very interesting. And he's just kind of surprised that it's peace on the world among humans, the way they react amongst themselves.
Yeah, he makes a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting too that because, for example, if you're speaking a language that you don't understand, you still have this intrinsic kind of agreement that that person is only speaking another language, so there's no reason to be aggressive towards that
Right.
person. So they have to go through the same struggles, right? They have to eat, they have to drink, they have to survive, just like me and
Mhm.
you, and we're just speaking different languages. That doesn't mean that I have to be or commit an action of violence towards that person just because we don't understand each other.
Right.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
I'm really glad that Jordan Peterson is back.
I know he's a pretty interesting person.
Yeah, did you hear why he was disappeared for a couple of years?
No, he was ill, no, of something.
Yeah, he was taking medication for antidepressant,
Yeah. Hmm.
and for some reason he had a bad reaction to the medication, and he was going through severe withdrawal problems, and he had to go to, I think he went to Serbia, he went to Russia, and somewhere in, I don't know where else, but he went to different places to get him, like they had to bring down the withdrawals so that he didn't go crazy.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, and because he was on this medication for so long that his body couldn't react to the fact that he stopped taking the medication.
Hmm.
So that's a bad
Right.
medication.
Yeah. Definitely.
And remember, he was going on all those tours. And
Right.
have you read his book?
No, I don't think so. I
I
don't
can
have
send
it.
you.
Yeah.
I can send you a copy of the book. I've got it.
Yeah. I like to
Yeah,
read that.
it's pretty interesting about the rules that he have, the 12 rules.
Hmm.
For life. He wrote a new book,
Hmm.
12 New Rules. Yeah. So that's great that he's speaking back on YouTube again. Did you see it on when he was talking on the Dave Rubin Report?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you should check him out on YouTube.
Okay.
Just type in Jordan Peterson.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
Yeah,
It's interesting to listen to some of these people who like really have something to say about things.
yeah, because what I like about Jordan Peterson or is that he looks at things from a different perspective, right? And he talks rationally, calmly. If have you noticed that when he talks, he doesn't show a lot of emotion when he talks?
No, right? Not at all.
Not at all, right?
Right.
So it doesn't mean that he's not happy or not sad, or he has emotions, but when he's speaking, it's really great to hear because he doesn't just scream and shout, and
I know.
he
And he
just talks.
doesn't look anybody's in the face really. He kind of talks indirectly, like looking at the floor or something else, focusing on something else rather than speaking to you eye to eye.
Right.
You look at somebody, but not in whole conversation.
And I think that, yeah, exactly. I think he does that because he's pondering the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you noticed that when you ask him a question, he's really like thinking deeply about the question?
Right.
he just doesn't blabber. He takes a pause, and then he answers the question.
Right. A lot of these people do that like that. Because you cannot have the question ready. It's and he doesn't want to just say something which doesn't have any meaning.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to make a good point to what
Right.
about the conversation that they're having.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's real interesting. He's a real interesting person.
Okay.
But he's human, he's able to
Yeah, sure.
he's able to he's able to converse, and he's not like a Elon Musk type of guy where it looks like he's computing functions in his head.
I know. He has that Neuralink in him. You know it.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure Elon.
A slow one because we definitely have to get out of this earth.
Well, do you think that he's got like a Neuralink that's constantly updating its software?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, like I said, this is having conversations, I think, is one of the greatest things that us as humans can ever be involved in.
Right. We have to converse.
Yeah, because without it, we're not able to communicate to one another.
Yeah, because that's what's other like I think like even like especially like when you look at the dogs because they're closer to us at all humans and all the time. I think they even like to say some more that you can feel it that they like to say more than they are able to. Sometimes I have that feeling like when you look at a dog, he's pawing you, he's eyeing you, he's dancing you, he scratches you, he's barking at you. But I don't think it's enough. I don't think they're satisfied with that. I think they like to be heard more. Like
yeah, I have that feeling. Yeah, I have that feeling too. That like animals have this. I think they struggle with that a little bit. I think they want to communicate more,
right?
But they can't, and they don't understand that limit.
Right.
Yeah, I have that feeling too.
Because sometimes, especially when you have them at home, you're talking to them all the time. It's like not talk to animals. I talk to them all the time, explaining them things, talking to them all the time, and they're looking at you. And sometimes you feel like they like to say something back, but they just can't. It's just like, what the heck, It's like, yeah, I know what you mean, man, but
yeah,
it'll be great if you can communicate with them more.
Yeah, sure.
Not just them, but they closest. It'll be good to communicate with any animal.
Yeah, like a Dr. Dolittle level.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, I have that feeling too that animals are like they have this limitation of speech, but I know what you're saying, that you feel that they want to say something more, something extra, and they just are not able to.
Right. And let's imagine this, like we create these now we have these little these little, what do you call them? These little drones, right?
Right.
So you're gonna go look at somebody's yard. If you can communicate with your bird who's sitting on the yard that somebody's under Namias, you say, hey, go take a look at it, tell me, see what happened. You will not need a drone. The bird can go over there and look at it and be right back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to monkey with some kind of stupid machine which you have to control all the time. The bird is on his own. He can just go there and look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell you that message. Be such an easier way to do it. And he doesn't hit somebody, or he doesn't. You have to watch the drones, the technology all the time, so they don't smash each other, or you don't lose it, you don't get out of batteries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about that with birds because they know intrinsically not to damage themselves, right?
Right.
Yeah, like a drone doesn't think for themselves. You have to control it with a controller.
Exactly. So now imagine if you can send the bird to do something, some chores for you. Go take a look at if the coops is open or store is open. Go let me know when the hospital is open. He'll just, okay, I'll be right back. It'll be fun for him to do, not to command them or like control them, but to just be friends with them. Says, hey, what are you doing sitting on the chimney? Go take a look if it's, this open or something else, whatever. It could be millions of tasks we can communicate with them.
I've always wondered that. How come we can't efficiently talk to animals, and how come animals can't efficiently communicate with humans?
Yeah.
How come there's no in between, right? I mean,
right.
There's no way that we can ever speak with whales, right? I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
But maybe, right? But
put something in him.
Well, you will put that Neuralink from Elon Musk, and then you'll be able to communicate with any sentient being. But how come we don't have that ability? That's what's interesting to me. How come we can't effectively communicate with animals?
Right.
It's weird to me in one way.
Mm-hmm. It'd be kind of interesting if we can prove that they communicate among themselves. I mean, I don't think they do much either.
Well,
like let's say duck with the bear.
Yeah. Oh, like this.
Yeah, among themselves, like, what are you doing? Give me some of those berries, or where are you gonna sleep tonight, or let's make a barbecue. They don't do that.
Well, that's a good question. I don't think a dolphin can speak to a bear.
Yeah.
And a bear can't speak to a dolphin.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Right.
So would you consider that language then? Is that a language?
Yeah, should be, yeah.
I consider that
kind of communication device, yeah.
Yeah, because the best example are penguins, right? In Antarctica, the scientists have studied them so long that every penguin makes its own distinct sound.
Yeah, exactly. They find each other in that thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, just by
they look all the same.
Yeah, exactly. Boy penguins, girl penguins, they look all the same when they're grown up. But they have a special sound, and they're able to communicate and find the exact penguins where they belong.
Right. But figure this, like even people has problems, because if you think of it like in massive, like if you look at these people on Square, Times Square or whatever, they all look each other, they all look alike. So we do the same. If you look at the people in China, especially like those like races, like Japanese or Chinese, we look at them and they look all the same to us.
Sure.
And I think they even kind of have problem too. Well, we're trying to find ourselves, but I think in Japan, that's why that's actually how they did these cell phones. They go to the square, there's so many of them, they won't be able to find each other. They call themselves on the phone. They're using the technology to find themselves rather than our own instincts. We won't be able to find ourselves. There's no way.
Do you think that we're going to lose that instincts to be able to find one another, like our own families?
I don't think you can. I mean, it's can you imagine if they put you, all we do, we can play 1,000 voices. I'll be able to find your voice, but there could be, I'm sure you can find a similar voices like our two voices are.
Right. I mean, there was, remember,
everybody has to, I know how you look like, but still.
Sure. Well, I think because we have that ability to imitate our voices too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you been on, have you seen like comedians, they do the imitations of presidents or famous actors and things like that. And they do it so well that they even sound more like there's this they sound more than the actual person themselves.
I know.
Yeah.
This guy here is and he's doing all the politician and stuff. He does like 160 voices.
See,
Perfectly perfect.
so if he does 165 voices completely perfect, and he has that ability to do that, and humans have that ability, then it would be difficult to find everybody in a crowd.
Right. Just by the voice.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you
And I
mean do voices?
I wonder if we have that ability too. That if you lived in California, for example, and you were randomly selected and you were taken to, I don't know, somewhere in Europe, would you be able to find your way back without any maps? Would you be able to, like, for
I
example,
don't
cats and
know.
dogs, they know how to get back to your house because of smells and scents,
Right.
and
Not all of them.
not all of them.
Yeah, some of them get lost.
Yeah.
And they don't really care because if they get lost, they dig another hole and live there, I think. They don't make much of it like we do.
Right. I
Oh,
think we put more emphasis on being lost than animals, probably.
right.
Do you think that we would have that ability to get back home or to something that we know?
I don't think so. No,
I
there's
think we
no
would be.
way of knowing.
I tend to believe that we would be completely lost.
You can like, and now when the land is so like smaller and smaller, so you hit west and but it's or you hit east or whatever direction you think you need to go. But how do you know where you at in the point when you already west of that place and you keep hitting west? You be going west, and then you're never gonna get there. So if you don't know actually where you at, I don't think you cannot find anything
So if you were
without helping others. Let's say you need to
yeah,
find a so you find city, you find the telephone, you find the railroad, and you're going home. You buy
right.
your you buy the ticket. Where you going? New York City. Okay, here's your ticket.
Well,
But
that's a different story
you
because
know,
you're going to be on the train, right?
right,
But what happens if you were, let's say, for argument's sake, right? Let's say you're uh, in Washington D.C. and you wanted to get to L.A., but you didn't know that, and you didn't know that you were in L.A. or in Washington D.C. Just imagine the United States as a place, and you were that far apart. Do you
right.
think you would ever hit or manage to get from Washington D.C. to L.A. or vice versa?
No, I don't think so. But I think the better example would be like, let's say, in the middle of the country somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
like Tennessee or whatever,
Right.
or Chicago, and then
Yeah.
you say you need to go New York City or Los Angeles.
Right.
So, but hitting west or you're hitting east, and what's about if you need to go just from one place to another, and you already passed that town, and you west of that town, but you passed it already. You see what I'm saying? That's all we can tell on the earth. If it's like a
Right.
flat pancake, kind of a sort like a pizza. So, but if you're in the middle between, you know, Milwaukee and Denver, and then you need to go to Milwaukee, but you already in Pennsylvania, so from Denver is east, but you placed on that pizza already beyond that. There's no way you find it
So you
without
would,
a map or anything like that.
yeah. So if you wanted to get to those places without a map, you would know that you passed. So you're saying that if you would pass one of those places, you knew that you passed it.
Though you wouldn't know just in case, just you know you need to hit west. But what about if you already west of that point where you at now?
So
How
if
you
you
know
started it, so if you
which
started in Chicago and then you left Chicago, that's all you would know. You would know that
right,
you left Chicago.
right, and going west. But if that's in point that everything has names and numbers, you know.
Well, let's say you
But
didn't
if you're
have that,
somewhere,
right?
yeah, if
Yeah,
you're somewhere in the middle of the pizza, you will never find your way anywhere. You
that's
don't have
interesting.
any kind of way to do it because we constantly going in the circle. That's been proven
So
that
if you, so
if you're on the airport, a huge
yeah,
place, you be constantly going one way. Whoever is leaning toward right side, you be going right circle. Who's more kind of a lefty, you be going completing a left circle, and that circle is so precise that you actually is gonna be find yourself at the exact same spot.
is that why that we have
That's
running
true.
tracks? Is that why we have running tracks in because we like to run in circles or
That I don't know, but it's been proven that you go in the same you're gonna go and make a complete circle, no matter could be big, small, I don't know, but you don't go straight.
have you seen that movie Blair Witch Project? That movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
they end
it
up in
kind of
a circle.
it kind of proved that point. They started somewhere, and then as the movie progressed, they started figuring out that they were starting to see the same places over and over
Right.
again,
Mhm.
and they walked in a big circle the whole day.
Exactly.
It took them 8 hours, but they ended up in the same place basically.
Yeah.
And every time, what's interesting about that film that every time that they argued about which way to go, they still ended up going in a circle
Well,
in a place that they already been to.
because they didn't use any other things which you can point. We cannot point the straight way, so you have to point north. So you have to look at certain things, which you go follow the river that goes somewhere. You follow the sun that goes somewhere. You follow the stars. That's how they were navigating on the ocean. That's the oldest navigation, following the stars. But as far as ourselves, without anything else, you look at the trees, you're looking at you're looking at the moss on the trees. That's unusually on north side. So you keep going that, you keep going north, and it's not very accurate. You probably go extra miles, but you keep going in some kind of direction. Otherwise, we cannot hold any kind of direction. We're going in the circle.
That's interesting that we go in circles because
Yeah.
it seems like if you just keep walking straight, 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 and then you're like, well, wait, maybe let's look at it and let's stop and look, and we go left, and you go left, and then you're going straight, 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 and you're like, well, wait a minute, let's look at it. It doesn't seem plausible that we would go in circles, because you're looking at it like, whoa, and you keep going from different landmark to landmark if you can,
Right?
but I guess that doesn't work for us. We don't have any.
No.
We don't have any inner compass or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. I feel bad, or I feel bad that we are not able to. I think in those situations it would be nice. I mean, if you met an animal, you could just say, "Hey, how the fuck do I get out of this place, man?"
Exactly. Yeah. He'll
you
know.
know, and to be honest, what other animals do we use as like other than dogs and cats? But we don't really as humans, we don't really interact with humans in any way. Animals in any way. It's not like we don't become friends with them, not on a deep emotional level anyway,
Right.
except for dogs and cats. But it's not like we go, yeah, I mean, we don't work together. It's not like we can go and find a bear in the woods and say, hey, come on, I'm building a house, can you help me?
Right. Exactly.
We don't really.
You're only looking at him the way if it's edible.
Yeah, we don't really
It's the most
coexist with.
interest we put on them.
Yeah, we don't really coexist with animals in that way to like improve the planet or anything
Right. No.
in that way. Maybe that's a human egocentric thing or something like that. But we because because bears don't give a fuck, right? Bears don't give a fuck about Greta Thunberg taking a yacht, okay? Because first of all, a bear doesn't know who Greta Thunberg is and doesn't know what a yacht is. They don't think in terms of global warming or pollution or recycling or
Right.
Samsung mobile phones or anything like that. They don't have any concept of that. They don't.
Right.
They don't worry about that.
Yeah, a good example about that is about those bears when on that island, when that island getting under the water, and people like they're most ignorant. Who you think move first and who you think stays last? The bear already know there is nothing to eat. He already moving on.
Yeah,
He's gone. There's too much water in his place, and there's nothing to eat. So he's already moving on. Only stubborn humans are starts building walls and try to stay on that island until they have to be evacuated by Coast Guard. That the island's getting under the water. They would be the last ones who stay because they're dumb
yeah,
in that sense, and everybody else are moved out of there because there's nothing there holding them in there.
yeah. We don't give that trust enough to the animals to say, "Hey, look, the bears are leaving, but I'll still stay here."
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't give that trust enough to animals in that way,
right.
and I don't think the animals give us trust either, in a
Right.
sense.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
can because somebody who's gonna come there with a helicopter, drop some cans of food.
right?
These people won't leave for whatever reason. Is they leave last until they're sitting on the roofs. I mean,
Because
how stupid are we?
uh,
In
because we
that
are
sense.
stubborn. We have the ability to be stubborn.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? We're stubborn. Animals
And
are stubborn too, but
the material holdings. So you think that you have a house in here which you're gonna go to hell in 5 seconds, but you're sitting on the roof and it's still your house.
yeah, you're like damn it, this is my house,
Yeah,
man.
it's my house. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, dude. Well, and in one way too, right? It depends. I mean, if that person's living in that island for 50 years,
Yeah,
they don't
sure.
want to leave the island. They're gonna be like, this is my house, man. This is where I live. Where am I
But
gonna go?
everything says that you have to move.
Yeah.
Everything's against you, so you have to move.
Well, did you see about those houses in what are they called? The houses in China? They're called they even have a name. I think it's called like a protest house or something like protest house, right? And it's real interesting because you see pictures of China where like the developers will come in and build like a massive freeway through this area, through this rural
Right.
area, right? But there's one guy that says, "No, motherfuckers, this is my house. I'm
Right.
not moving." And they have to build the freeway around the house.
Right. I know.
There's this
It's
one house, but the
yeah.
freeway's around it, right? There's no access to the house,
I know. I saw
you know,
that.
and it's a massive like 6-lane freeway in every direction, and there's this one little old ancient Chinese house in the middle. It's real interesting. Or there'll be like the developers will come in and say, "Hey, we got to build this massive shopping mall," and they say, "Yeah, you can, but not on my property." And then you have this massive modern buildings and one
Yeah,
old house in the middle.
I know.
Yeah, those pictures are really interesting. I think they're called protest houses or something like that.
Yeah,
So see, I mean, that's how stubborn people can be.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
It's,
it's like a my house, my castle kind of philosophy.
yeah, definitely. They don't, they don't move.
No, they don't want to
But the
move.
ducks, and whatever else is in there, it's already moved on.
Yeah,
Quietly, they already left. Says, "What the hell is this? I'm not gonna fight this little bulldozer.
right.
I'm gone."
And they
It's the-
leave.
yeah, they leave.
Yeah. And what's interesting about ducks or birds is that they always go away for the winter to some warmer climate and then come back to where they originally lived to the exact same spot.
Yeah, you know.
So they must have some kind of compass or some kind of reference. How do they
Sure.
how do they get back? I mean, it's like they
How
have
does
a
he know?
built.
Follow the one on the front. He knows.
I know he knows, but how does he know, or how do they
Yeah,
know? Yeah, is it
right.
by smell,
Yeah.
or because they fly thousands of kilometers away and they have this intrinsic ability to get back to where they just came from?
Yep.
That's
They
wild.
know it. They know it perfectly.
Yeah, that's wild, bro. Dude, if you think about it, or think about how like animals are
Takes a lot of
amazing.
machines and navigations and all that stuff for us to get there. If we need GPS up the ass, we still will get lost.
Yeah, you
And
still take a wrong turn somewhere.
and this little duck, the brain size of the pea, so and he knows exactly where he started and where he's going and how he's gonna get back with no problem.
Yeah,
And I don't think he even stress about it. He know he just goes. He
I
doesn't
don't
gonna
think.
stop and he says, "Hey, this is a good place. I'm kind of tired now. I think I'm gonna stop."
Yeah,
They
I don't
don't
think they
do
have to
that.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man. It's wild. Or penguins, they can stand in all those that cold, harsh winters on their
yeah,
feet.
yeah.
I mean, today was like -1, and I'm freezing my balls, dude.
I know.
There's no way I would be able to survive in a place like Antarctica.
We can't.
Yeah, I mean, they freeze to death too, but it takes a while before that situation happens.
I can survive in the tool shed for one night.
Yeah, that quiz from Field and
Yeah,
Stream, man.
I know.
Dude, I got like my best was I could spend 4 hours in the tool shed
Yeah,
by
exactly.
myself.
And the backyard,
Yeah.
not in the wild. Never mind. Never mind the wilderness.
Yeah, and barely in my backyard,
I know.
dude.
So that way, we're not equipped at all for anything like that.
Yeah, we don't have any natural instincts like in that way.
No.
We do have survival instincts like adrenaline. Well, if something is threatening us, we will
Right.
try to fight to survive. We have that.
Right.
We have that. I mean, it's not like uh, if you were swimming in the sea and a shark was
Right.
coming at you, you know,
Try
you're
to
not
make it as long as possible. Sure.
right. Yeah, we have that. You
Yeah.
know, you're gonna fight, you're going to swim away, you're gonna do
Right.
something to make you survive. We have
Exactly.
instincts, but we I don't think our like for example, birds, right? Birds almost from the beginning are able to fly, right?
Mhm.
Bears are able to hunt when they're born. I don't know how they know how to hunt, but they know how to hunt. Of course, the parents kind of
They
help and
learn.
guide
Yeah. Sure.
to learn, but they know how to hunt. They have it in them, in their instincts to do
Sure.
that. Uh, that's what's amazing.
Right.
Uh, and it's true that animals do feel emotions, and that's what I think where animals lack. Animals have emotions, but going back to like dogs and cats where they you feel like they want to speak more, I think that's where they have trouble with
Mhm.
express. They can express their emotions to a point, of course, like they're
Right.
sad, you know, they're angry or
Exactly.
depressed or down, but I think they still want to express it a little bit more with emotions. I think emotions are the hardest to for
Right.
animals to communicate.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, it's hard for them to express emotions in that way to a higher level, you know.
Right.
I and sometimes they say if it's true, the scientists have proven that some things don't even have emotions.
Mhm.
That's wild.
You mean like some kind of bugs or something like that?
Yeah, they don't feel pain, they don't feel
Right,
sad,
sure.
they don't feel angry, they're just existing.
Right. That's boring.
That would be boring.
They just exist. That's how I feel under this state of emergency.
Are you just existing?
Yeah, no point of it.
There's
I
no
mean, some
point, dude.
countries you can't even buy underwear. I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday.
Dude, go buy yourself some underwear online, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I went to the shop today, and they're having the lockdown again, where certain things you can buy, certain things you can't buy.
Even online.
No, online you can buy
Store.
anything you want,
Right.
but at the shops, like if you go to Tesco, they have it all blocked off the clothing section again. It's just some baby toys and some electronics
Oh,
again.
I know they retaped everything.
Yeah, it's all
It's kind of
retaped.
down. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. The
they opened it
buckets,
up and then they
the
closed it again.
pencils, yeah, the pencils and shit like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's what's dangerous, right? You're just now picking and choosing what you can and can't buy. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's not a good way to run the lockdowns. Is just picking and choosing.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what is there? Like nowadays, or usually people like to collect things.
Right.
Uh, were there and people now, the big craze again is people collecting Pokemon cards, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and Pokemon cards they were made in 1999, right? And then people were collecting them, but Pokemon has always been popular, but
Right.
I don't know how like collectibles bring up value of those things, of the things that you want to collect. I don't know how that works, but now people who have like these 1999 cards, those are really really collectible and
Right.
really expensive to buy, or you can
Mhm.
make a lot of money from it, right?
Sure.
Was there anything that when you were growing up that you had, I was thinking about this, was there anything that you were growing up that you said, hey, look, if I collect this and keep this, these will be worth a lot of money? Did you collect anything,
No, I don't think we have anything like that.
or
Uh,
that just didn't exist, or
it just nothing was like that. I don't remember anything like that because like even like grandma was saying like they have we have this Shirley Temple doll
right?
like everybody there was there before, but here I don't think we have anything like that.
Like there
It's
was
always
nothing
been
like,
like collectibles over there, but I don't through me, no,
yeah,
was nothing like that. Nothing collectible.
yeah, nothing
Maybe
collectible.
like marbles, I don't know, but not even that. It's not having any kind of value.
Right. So there was nothing like that you were able to collect that had any kind of value in the future. Like, hey, like,
No, maybe like the stamps, post office stamps,
uh-huh.
or something like that. Or we have these little like pins.
Yeah,
A lot of people collect pins like from different places.
sure.
Maybe
But
that.
nothing like, okay, like, those, like, now people are into coin collecting, right? You have a coin or
Yeah,
a,
coin maybe. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. Maybe something like that too.
but nothing like as far as toys or,
I don't think so.
yeah,
We don't have anything, any kind of extraordinary to be like Ninja Turtles or anything like that.
right, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have.
Or Beanie Babies. They created that to be
Right.
collectibles.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Or yeah, that's a big market. I mean, the one guy, he bought, I there was a YouTube video. I mean, the guy bought a Pokemon deluxe kit, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so he bought a box that was part of the 1999 collection. He bought it for $350,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. But he sold it, the packs, the individual
Right.
packs in the box, and he made over $1 million selling them
True.
back.
Right.
So he tripled his money basically.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
That's pretty good.
Good deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So so there was nothing like that kind of market or anything like that.
No, not as far as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything like that.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that today. I was like, wow, to collect something that's also really strange, right? Because you could collect books, you could collect things, and then you're hoping that after a certain time those things will be increasing in value. Like
Right.
Jay Leno has his car collection, right? And he's keeping that to that those cars will only increase in value.
Exactly.
Do you think that those things, that even though like now, do you think those like older things are now collectible because the Soviet Union doesn't exist, so anything from that time is collectible, or make it rare?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can. Like even Trabants, people selling it for like million crowns here now.
Sure.
It's a junk. But I mean, so that's like, it's rare. There's a lot of different things, cars and you name it, like washing machines or sewing machines or something like that. It's like it's like an antique kind of thing. So
now there's a market for that stuff.
yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, because it's like rare.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I guess that's the thing. The rarity of it is what brings the value of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's interesting that how we put value on certain things, right? I mean, if you have like a washing machine from 1950, nobody's gonna say anything. Right. But if it's a 1950s like Soviet Union washing machine, all of a sudden it's worth something now.
Right.
That's interesting that we do that as humans, that we put value on things in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a market for it. That's amazing. That there's somebody willing to buy that for whatever reason.
I know. That's why we have these crazy auctions. This guy just drives around the country, collects all kinds of junks, and they make the auction and makes bucks out of it.
Yeah, I mean, because that person knows, right? That well, what is that idiom or that old thing that one man's garbage is another man's treasure?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you might think it's garbage for you, but he's like, wow, I can sell this and make money.
I can use this.
Yeah.
Sure you can.
Well, did you see those car auctions in Miami or whatever? That
sure.
Barrett Jackson?
Yeah.
I mean, those cars that they bring out, and they sell, not all of them, of course, but most of them, I think, get sold over market price, I think.
Of course, yeah.
But auctioning is hard. Auctioning is hard. There's so many fees and regulations, and how much money do you think that you get? Like if you had like a 1935 Rolls-Royce Phantom, you put it on the Barrett Jackson auction block, and it sells for, I don't know, 1.3 million. How much of that money do you think you get as the owner? You get
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think you get all of it.
You have to pay some. Yeah, you have to pay some fee to auction that.
Right.
Yeah, not that. Yeah, you don't get it at full price. Yeah, you have to pay something back, and for all that to happen.
Yeah, like
but
fees.
Some of these things are funny. Like I watched some of these action like in Detroit.
Yeah.
And it was like day of these Corvettes and Fords, and it was like there was like 1956, some special Ford pickup truck
Hmm.
with some kind of tweak in the engine and went up to 400,000. And then in between these, there was like a special crowd of people, and in between they roll 1970 Rolls Royce
Yeah.
and sell for 12,000.
Really?
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
this wasn't a day of Rolls Royces, everybody wants these old pickup truck, a rare kind of. There was just a special club because they went in there because they have like these special rare engines in these
Y-
things.
Yeah.
Some kind of fucked up, you might say, or something, or just rare, just one build. And these people fetch 80,000 for a pickup truck, which is
Yeah.
60 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they like say, well, it wasn't the day for this kind of special polished Rolls Royce, nothing.
But it was a big win for the guy that bought it.
Yeah, exactly. It's for sure.
Yeah, he walks out with a nice Rolls Royce for only 12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's interesting. Like it depends where they go. I saw it was something similar. We were in. I watched it twice. It was like on one weekend it was in Miami, and another week it was in Oklahoma, I think.
Uh-huh.
And the people in Miami, they were buying the Mercedes, the BMWs, the Ferraris, the super
Right.
sports cars, right? Luxury. And the guys in Oklahoma were like buying like just normal cars, like
Right.
Chevys, Cadillacs, things like that. And this one, it was super sick. It was like I think it was a BMW 7 Series, something like that, 2000. Because when I watched it, it was like 2014, right? 2014. Dude bought it for 5,000.
Yeah.
I mean, they auctioned it, right? And they didn't have a minimum, right? They didn't, they say with like when they yell like with no restriction, that means
Yeah.
that they don't have to sell it at a minimum price. It's just whatever goes, it
Whatever
sells,
goes, right. Yeah.
So the guy was like, and they were like starting at 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 7,000, 5,000, all that, how they speak so
Yeah,
fast.
sure.
And the guy was like, oh, sold for 5,000. And fuck, the guy who's selling it was probably like, oh my God, what did I just do?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that car's worth, he bought it for at least, I don't know, 300,000 or more,
Right.
and sold it for 5,000 on the auction block.
Yeah,
Dude.
that could happen. You can fetch a lot of money or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Or no restriction, no reserve. That's the term. No
Right,
reserve.
Right.
Yeah, no reserve means they don't have to pay. It doesn't have to reach a certain amount first.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise it won't get sold. So a lot of people put that reserve on.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because like that guy auctioning in England there,
Yeah,
and the guy said, he said he wants 12,000, let's say.
right.
And they start bidding 9,000, 9,002, 9,005, 9,007, sold for 10,000 quid. Well, the guy comes up there and says, no, I'm not going to sell it,
Sure.
because it doesn't reach his expectation. So he's not selling it. Even you won the bidding. And so sometimes this guy said, well, they go in private room, private conversation, because he does want to get rid of it, right?
Right.
But so the guy said, well, I'll give you another, 500 and sell for 11.2 rather than 12. He's going to get rid of it, right?
Sure. But but the sale wasn't finalized on the block.
Right.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have to sell it if it doesn't reach that expectation point.
Right. Exactly. So sometimes there was like a rare Rolls Royce or something, and the guy was like the reserve of I don't think they mentioned the reserve. They just say it has a reserve, and then it was like they were bidding 25,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, going once, going twice, 50,000, not sold because it didn't hit the reserve. He
Right.
says like. Yeah, but I think the guy won the bid at 50,000. I don't know. Did they count it as I don't know if they counted as a completely no sale, or the guy who was the last to bid that 50,000 and the guy closes it. I wonder if that guy who bidded 50,000 can go talk to the owner.
Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they allow it. Depends. I saw it like in England there, the guy did it. The owner is there and waiting for the result.
I see.
You know,
And then they take the last bidder and maybe go behind closed doors and make a
right?
deal. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes
Because, like
sense.
I'm saying, he wants to get rid of it, obviously, right? And he already
Right.
paid the expenses to the bidder, the auctioneer, all that. Like this guy, he travels all around England and puts them on the loader and takes them to this auction in this small town. It's a famous town for this auction. So
Sotheby's, I think.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
And then so you have to pay for all that, the towing and all that, right?
right.
So it's gonna cost you something.
Right. So
But they're
that would
gonna
be,
need to sell it because they just doing that.
well, that would be a shame, right? You do all that thing and then you go and you go through that whole process for a no sale.
Right.
That would be a waste of you would lose more money that way.
Mhm.
I'm thinking. I don't know, auctioning is very tricky.
Yeah, you can get a good money or you can buy something good or not. Just like
Yeah,
something starts on 5,000, but as well, you're not gonna sell for 5,000, and the bid could go crazy because somebody really wants that shit.
right, exactly. And I think there's even a process too. Like they don't just let anybody in the auction. They make sure that the people in the auctions that you're able to buy the thing that you're buying,
Right.
right? So the people that are in the audience, they have enough money to buy something,
Right. I
right?
think you have to pay cash for it right away. You have to have the money that day.
Yeah, that
Some of those are cash deals.
right. They screen you so that so like if you, let's say you're auction or betting on or bidding on something like a Ferrari, and it gets up to 1,000,003, 1,000,005, it can go crazy, right?
Sure.
Those people that are in that audience that are bidding already have like 5 million or more to spend,
Right.
right? And sometimes the people that are actually doing the bidding are not even the actual buyers. They're like representatives of the buyers too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
They
Yeah.
send like a secretary or something to go bid for them.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, but those people that are in the people that are bidding are verified that they have cash to buy the things that they're bidding on,
Right.
right? They wouldn't, I mean, if you're especially in the high end kind of things,
Sure. If you
like
buy
luxury
some,
items.
yeah, or paintings and things that nature, which cost a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. I think they even only say like serious bidders only, like people who are actually like have art collections
Because you
and
let's imagine you have like $2 in a bar, I'm gonna fuck with them. It's 5 million, 5 million, two. I have those too.
you're just a massive
$2.
you're just a massive troll.
Yeah.
And they're
So the
like,
whole thing will go to hell, right? Because the guy lost. But
yeah,
then you
exactly.
throw out of the market and it's a big mess. They can have to re-auction it.
They're like, hey, do you have the 5 million? No, I don't.
I don't.
I have got the $2. Yeah, we're gonna close this auction.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that Winston Churchill painting from Angelina Jolie?
Oh, something. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, she sold it at an auction for like
Uh-huh.
8 million pounds.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was painted by Winston Churchill.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how she got it, but
Right. That's an interesting point.
yeah, but she had it in her collection.
Uh-huh. Nice.
And because Winston Churchill, is, it's a rare piece because one, he's not alive anymore. And second, he's not really an artist per se,
But he was
right?
doing paintings, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
well,
painting
a lot of these guys did paintings.
on retirement. When he retired, he was painting, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, he dabbled in painting, and this painting, it's a palace. He painted a palace,
Mm-hmm.
and Angelina Jolie bought it somehow, and she had it, and she sold it at the auction.
Yeah, sure.
So that she made a lot of money from that artwork.
Sure.
But what's so great about that is that she can determine if she wants to sell it or not because it's a one of a kind piece,
Right.
right? So even if it was 8 million quid, she could say like, "Hey, I want more," right? Because she is creating that market
Yeah.
because she has such a rare piece. That's awesome. So she made a
And
lot
if
of
you
money.
figure when you sell it, you don't gonna have it anymore. It's kind of a, it's like owning a lot of gold. I mean, like you want to supposed to have the gold. If all the money go down to hell, you will pay with gold. But now it's good to buy the gold. It's not good to sell the gold. But who's gonna sell it? Why would you sell it? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it's like the
yeah,
point. Like you accumulate a whole bunch of gold, so now you have it, and then you have it for the emergency purposes. Now, whole world going to hell. That's of course the gold's gonna go up. But then what are you gonna buy? Are you gonna sell it and what? What do you get in the hand? Toilet paper with some kind of head of the statesman,
yeah.
Kim Jong Un money. I mean, why would I sell the gold?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's a precious metal and it's something that you always want to have on hand anyway, right?
Yeah, right.
But I mean, even if it's something silly like, you throughout your life you collect a lot of things, right? Just naturally. And then you're like, even a pair of old headphones, you still kind of don't want to sell it or part with it. It's very
Right,
difficult, right?
right.
So can you imagine if you have a whole bunch of gold or something like because now, I mean, she has a whole bunch of money from it, but now she doesn't have that painting anymore, which might have
Yeah,
looked good in her house. You put some sentimental value on it yourself too.
exactly.
And well, if you gotta, I mean, I don't know what you gotta do with a bunch of Kim Jong Un money, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that might not even be worth buying toilet paper.
Or maybe it's like collecting Deutschmarks.
Yeah,
Do they even have it? Does North Korean money have Kim Jong Un on the
I've
money?
never seen the money.
Me neither.
I don't think you can even see them on the internet. That would be interesting to Google it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to check that out.
Yeah.
What that even looks like. Yeah, they were. Do you know Eddie Bravo, that jujitsu guy?
Yeah.
Well, his theory about uh, North Korea is that everybody is just an actor there,
Uh-huh.
that they're acting a role, so that when tourists go into North Korea, because in North Korea, when you can go there, but you can only go to certain places,
Right.
and the certain places that you go to, you have to be with a guide. And there's this guy on YouTube that went there and he filmed it, and he said they went to a school, and the school, like the kids dressed up, the teachers dressed up, and they put on a performance.
Yeah.
But they don't usually do that in school. They just do that for tourists. So his theory is that the people that live there are just actors, basically, and just acting a role to make it look like their lives are great there.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no way he can prove that, but
Right.
I don't know, man.
I think they're slaves.
Do you think so?
Just like in people in China, they're slaves.
Yeah, it must be weird to live in those places, man.
Yeah.
Must be strange.
Sure.
I wonder if if people living there know what they're living in, or they just accept it, or there's no way out of it, or I don't know.
Both. They have the ideology in them. It's just brainwashed, and they don't know any better.
That's why I
They're
hear a
not
lot of people
seeking
trying to
anything.
escape.
Yeah.
And because I guess they don't have the experience to travel anywhere and be like free in that way.
Right.
It must be wild.
Because they're not taught that. So,
Sure.
or suppressed.
I wonder what they teach for example, in their curriculum. Like, do they do they teach them like? I mean, what is the literature that they read? Do they? I wonder if they read like Chinese authors or Korean
No,
authors,
no,
or
I don't think so.
what do you
They
think
eat
that?
well. They're similar like those. They eat the book, same book of Mao Zedong, how great the shit is, and over again. It's like if you don't have the answer on page two, go back to page one. And whatever's on page one, they'll explain it to you on page two. And what is not on page two, go back to page one. And they go all over and reading the same damn shit. That's why they don't have any opinion or and nothing. They don't learn anything.
So they probably just learn like the same like ideology over and over again in some
Yeah,
way, or
sure.
relate it to it.
Right.
That's crazy, man. That's a crazy way to live. It's hard to imagine people living like that.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, yeah, because I'm yeah, I was gonna ask too. If you were able to go back in time, what time period would you like to go back to?
Oh, jeez. Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I was watching before we started, right? I was watching Pawn Stars. Have you seen that show?
Right. Yeah, I've been watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good show, right? And one of the guys brought in a like a big box, and on the box was called Buffalo Ben, right?
Hmm.
And the guy was trying to sell this thing called Buffalo Ben and all of his things, that he was part of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, you know?
Right. Uh-huh.
Well, it wasn't. It was worse shit. He didn't get anything for that. But because he wasn't Buffalo Ben. Nobody
Right.
ever heard of that guy, right? So then, but in the box he had puppets, right?
Right.
Like in Tombstone, they had that puppet show, and then the cowboy started shooting and shit.
Right.
Yeah, so he had that, and he got $5,000 for those puppets in the
There
pawn
you go.
shop. So
Yeah.
that was pretty good. So and then, but there was a guy. Now his name wasn't Buffalo Ben, but this guy was named Ben Thompson,
Hmm.
and this dude knew Bat Masterson and Wyatt Earp and
Uh-huh.
all those guys. He lived at the same time.
Right.
And then somehow I got even deeper, and I went to that. When Johnny Ringo in Tombstone says he's the Doc Holliday says, "Oh, he's the deadliest pistol wearer since Wild Bill."
Right.
So I looked up Wild Bill, right,
Right.
and I looked up like who killed him. Uh, what was his name? Richard Poe, I think, or John? No, John McWillick or something like that killed him, right?
Uh-huh.
And what's interesting about it is that they're all connected, and they were able to document what that guy said. So he was a. It was interesting. On August 1st in 1876, right? Wild Bill went into the game to play poker, and he was sitting with his back against the wall, right?
Hmm.
So he could see everything in the bar. Everybody enter and so on. And then now this is where it's such a coincidence, right? So the guy who killed Wild Bill wasn't playing poker the night before,
Hmm.
but the night that he went in, he was playing poker for some reason. I don't know why. He just went. This guy went into the saloon,
Hmm.
and then was starting to play poker, and one chair opened up, and it was uh, for Wild Bill. So he started playing poker, and he noticed that the guy that he was playing against was drunk and being aggressive, and so what he did, Wild Bill gave this dude money. He gave him money and said, "Hey, look, uh, go to your room." It's documented what he said. That's what's interesting. Is that, and he said, "Go to your room. I won some money. Here's some money, and I will give you money for breakfast, and just calm down, and then come back and play with some more poker." Just telling him to relax. The guy came back because he got offended by what he said, and he said something to him like "damn you," and he back of the head.
Yeah,
That's crazy,
there you go. Yeah.
dude. That's crazy. But yeah, that Buffalo Ben dude, he didn't get any money for that shit. Because you know that Rick, the owner,
Right, yeah.
yeah, he said like, dude, I don't have any interest in this Buffalo Ben shit.
Sometimes it goes crazy.
Yeah, I know. And then he goes, but these puppets, I can work with these.
Yeah,
And so he brings in those experts, right? And the guy,
right,
he got 5,000. Not a bad deal.
right, sure.
Not a bad deal for that.
Yeah. So they worth a lot more than that. He can auction them somewhere for big bucks.
Well, yeah, because he's got to make money off of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was wondering about that show. Do you think he brings in the experts and the expert like lowballs the price? So, like, because, I don't
Yeah,
know.
of course, he's not gonna give you all the money.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you see, like already, like I've been watching it for a while, and he goes like, "What is this?" And I want 5,000. He said, "Well, this looks like 700, man."
Yeah,
Just give him shit. And he goes like, "Well, I really was hoping more." And he said, "Well, you know." So he said, "Okay, if you think this brings this Amish guy over there," and he says, "Well, some things history is on this and this, but if you think this is only worth 1,500."
yeah,
So he said, "My 700 is still saying if you want it, I get it. If I
yeah,
forget
sure.
5,000."
I know exactly. So I always think like the experts say like something lower, and then so that the Rick guy can make maximum amount of money.
Yeah.
Because yeah, exactly. And then he pays you 700, and you're like, "Fuck, what did I just get myself into?"
Yeah. But you don't have to sell it. It's up to you.
Oh yeah, for
Some
sure.
guy said, I think it's worth 2,000, but my wife wants to get rid of this box, and it's better than sitting in the garage. Then I got 200 for it. So I'm going to buy myself something good on the strip and go home.
Right, like a steak dinner or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
I
Buy
know.
yourself a baseball steak.
Yeah, have you seen like the show, like a episode? The guy comes in and I want 100. He goes he goes into the shop. They interview him, face to face. He
Yeah.
goes, I want to get 20,000 out of this, but the less I will go is 14,000. And then he goes in. I don't know. It's like a Babe Ruth card, and he says, "I want 20,000." And the guy goes like, "This is only worth 7." And he already said that he's not going to take less than 14,000. And then he goes, "You know what? Meet me in the middle for 3,500, and
I know.
and we get a deal." And so he just lost 17 grand.
I know.
I know. And I like Rick. He goes like, "Look, I'm taking all the risk. I'm gonna give you $600 and nothing more."
I know. He's gonna sit in my shelf here, and I have to go dust it. It's not going nowhere.
Yeah, I have to reframe it, and
Yeah,
I
I
know.
mean, these cards are worth a lot of money, but if you sell them individually, I have to go through a box here. What you got? I give you $150 for the whole box.
Yeah,
I have to sort it out. If I get any money on it, that would be a miracle, man.
yeah,
You already
exactly.
know he saw some Babe Ruth sign up, that's worth 7,000. He said, "I'll give
Yeah,
you $150 for the whole box."
yeah. He's already thinking in his head like, "Cha-ching, cha-ching."
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Like this one guy, he had a really nice collection of Indian motorcycles, right? He had like 8 of
Oh
them.
yeah, I saw that one too.
Yeah, and his son,
Yeah, he
Corey.
wants to buy him. Yeah, he said, "Buy the whole thing for $250,000."
Yeah, you saw that one too?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he was like, "You just buy all of them for 250."
I know.
and the guy was like, "Fuck no, I'm not gonna do that."
I know.
And then he ended up buying that 1917 Indian for, I don't know, 50 grand or something.
Yeah, I know. How much was the whole collection?
dude, you know that collection is over $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
So that guy, he was like, just pay $250,000 for all of them, Dad.
Yeah.
and Rick was like, no, son, I'm not your motorcycle finance company.
I know.
But then Rick goes and buys like $1 million suit of George Washington. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I know. Yeah. Well, if I have this suit, what would they make me? What would they look like? Indulgent wiener.
Exactly. Thursday nights are the most loneliest nights for myself.
I know.
Yeah, this George Washington suit. I saw 4 people wearing this shit.
No, sir, this is the only one. They don't even have it in the White House. Oh, okay.
What else have you got in the White House?
Well, we have this. We have this sword. I think he bought the sword, remember, or something like that.
Yeah, he wanted the
That
sword.
collection. They were
Yeah.
like $1 million for that suit.
Yeah, he did. That guy did. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was 3 things in that George Washington deal.
Yeah.
His suit,
Right.
I think the sword, and a wallet or something. And yeah, and I think he bought the sword. I think.
Right.
Yeah, I think he bought the sword, and I think he bought it for $1 million or close to it. He spent a lot of money on that,
I don't think that much, but
but a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. But there was this one lady. She had a 1802 copy of the Federalist Papers.
Oh yeah, I saw that too, I think.
Yeah, she sold it for like $3,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
If it's like a first edition and stuff, yeah.
yeah, and I think it was even
So
signed by.
Rebecca comes in there and check it out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's pretty good, that Rebecca.
Yeah.
She's pretty fair, but
Mhm.
but I wondered why do they go to the pawn shop? Why don't they just deal with her directly? She works for a rare bookshop that buys books.
Sure, yeah. Right.
Why don't they have to go to a pawn shop? Just go to her.
Well, if you wanna keep it, depends what you wanna do with it. You wanna sell it or you wanna hold it. She won't do that. But
No.
he does.
Oh, you mean to pawn it, like hold
Yeah,
it?
if you wanna pawn it, then
Yeah. Well, isn't pawning just like if you pawn something like that book, for example, if you pawn it for $7,000, that's just a loan that you have to pay back, right?
exactly.
And if you don't pay it back, what happens?
He keeps the shit.
He keeps the book.
Right.
So what is the difference between selling it and pawning it at that point?
Well, you can get it back.
If you pay $7,000
Right.
again.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps the same value?
Oh, that I don't know.
Uh-huh. So if he gives you $7,000 for that book, you can buy it back for $7,000, or is it more?
Well, he said, well, it was.
Yeah, it always was.
Who said it was one?
I just watched an episode of it, and the guy, what was it that he was trying to sell? I think it was a book or a picture, and he was like, I want to sell it for $149,000. This shit that he was selling. What was it? And he said, okay. And then Rick is like, no, dude. Like, I need to get an expert. No, the Enigma machine. An Enigma machine. The guy brought in an Enigma machine. That, the Nazi Enigma machine?
Right.
The decoder shit?
Right. I think I saw that one too.
Yeah, and he was like, the guy just comes up with this random number. He's like 149,000. And he was like, okay. So the guy, the expert came in, the appraiser, and he said, no, like this one doesn't have the serial codes or anything like that. So this is probably going to be maximum 75,000, which is a lot of money.
Sure.
Anyway, but the guy was like, okay, so the guy said 75,000. I'll take it for 115,000. You know,
Right.
and the guy was like, no deal. So they ended up not selling it, but the prices are way off.
Sure. Right. They don't make
But I like also guys that say like the guy is the appraiser will say like Rebecca, she'll say like this book is worth 7,000, and then the seller says, then I want 7,000.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that guy's gonna give you 7,000. He has to resell it.
Right. Exactly.
He's not
Or
buying
he
it for
goes like,
himself.
you know, I can give you 2,000, 2,500. That's about it.
Sure, that's like almost triple his money, right? And he's like, I take all the risk here. I have to rebound it, find a seller. It's gonna sit in my shop for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
You
just
know,
pretty
it's
interesting.
auction it, but
But there's no guarantees, right? He says that's why he says, look, sometimes he says like, look, I'll give you 3,000 cash and everybody's happy. With the auction, you might not
right,
get that either. Plus all the
right,
fees, right?
right.
I don't know. It depends what you're selling, but I don't know. I was thinking with those 1802 Federalist papers, why don't you just go to the rare bookshop?
Yeah, but I don't think they will buy it. They don't have that kind of resources. I don't
To
know how
just
they get their own book, how they get their books, but they buying and selling books. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But he might because she said seven, and Rick don't gonna give him that money, or he's
Right.
gonna sell it to her later, and they still make money.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
she probably come back there. What happened to that book? So
because
well,
she wants it.
I got it. You want
Yeah,
it for five? You want it for 10 grand? You can sell it for 15.
sure.
Okay.
I
They
think that's
probably
how it
make
works.
deals like that too.
Yeah,
He knows everybody.
because and they know each other, right?
Right.
I saw where that rare bookshop is. The rare bookshop that where Rebecca goes to or
Mhm.
works or did work. I don't know, but it's in the Venetian Hotel.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, they
Yeah,
must.
he's in Las Vegas Boulevard there.
Yeah, he's in
No.
downtown Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's close to the Four Queens, I think, and the
Yeah,
Golden Nugget. He's in that area.
right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just down the street, so he knows
Exactly.
everybody. So
Right.
yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, he just resells it to her.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. That he buys books all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, it's an interesting business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
And he'll
interesting.
talk about it too, so he can. And with this show, I mean, they pay him money. He make millions just doing this show. That was the greatest idea to get on the show. This show
Yeah,
makes money.
yeah, they pay him,
See,
uh,
exactly.
and he
So
gets all the publicity.
they just saw it. I mean, there is a like on YouTube, they worth several $1 million. You watch this Chum Lee. He's funny, right?
Yeah, he's funny.
So he got in trouble or something, and he's like, but he has like multi-million-dollar home in Vegas. They're all millionaires.
Of course, from that show, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and his son Corey is kind of funny too.
right.
It's kind of funny. I wonder how much of it is. Some of it's scripted, I'm sure, because they have to make the
Yeah.
show interesting. But I wonder. But the deals are real, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're real. I know the interactions are sometimes not the realest. I think that everyday transactions when they're not filming is probably goes a little bit differently.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they invite these people like, what's the chances that they have that real guitar there, and the owner of the guitar, the singer shows up all of a sudden.
yeah. No, that's all pre-planned,
That's on
right?
stage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's staged. Yeah, he's already there.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's part of the show. Yeah, they're not gonna have like a time out of their busy day to go down to the pawn shop in
Right.
10 minutes.
Right. Or accidentally bump into it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's been staged.
Yeah, like the guy, rare bicycle guy walks in and he's like, "Oh, I just popped in," and "Oh, you're
Yeah,
selling a bike." Yeah,
right.
that doesn't happen.
Hmm.
But but that show, I mean, if they have all those experts anyway, rare guitar, toy expert, money expert, sports expert, weapon experts, Western experts, book experts, that's all in Las Vegas on the
Right.
strip. You could buy anything there.
Yeah, exactly.
You could buy and sell anything there in Las Vegas. That's amazing. On just that boulevard, basically.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's that's amazing.
Sure.
Las Vegas is an interesting place in that way.
Well, there's that, in the Venetian when Michael always goes buy stuff.
Oh, that famous antique shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if
Michael he was under camera when he was already in trouble when he needs to conserve money, and he goes like, "Well, this is really nice statue. I wanna. How much is it? Well, this one is 750. Uh, okay. And what's about this one? If we buy two of them, I'll give you a good deal." And this guy says, "Michael, you already spent $1 million. You cannot do that." He goes, "Yeah, but he given us a good deal on this." The
yeah. And
guy
did you
must be. I don't go here that often. I only go here twice a year. The guy must be in heaven when Michael shows up and selling all this shit for a million.
and in that interview, man, did you see him? He was walking in that interview, during that interview, and he was like, "Yeah, I bought this one, I bought that one, I
Yeah, I
have three of these," and the guy's like licking his lips in the background, like, "Yeah, I got it."
know.
He's buying all these random statues and shit.
How much is the first 350?
I
That
think that's in
was
I think that's in
great.
Caesar's Palace, right? I think
No, I think it's in Venetian.
Venetian as well. Mhm.
Yeah, he goes to Venetian in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that was a long time ago. That was it like
yeah,
that was like in 2000 or 2004 or something like that.
something
That,
like that. Yeah,
that interview, yeah, yeah. Have you ever been to the Venetian? Have you ever been inside?
yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing that they can recreate what it's like to be in Venice inside the hotel.
That's pretty nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Uh,
take a gondola ride.
did you do that? Did you take the
Yeah, yeah,
yeah?
we did that. Yeah,
Is it good to go through it? And
it's nice. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, they have. I mean, the technology that they have, that they're able to recreate things and themes, and it's an amazing place, Las Vegas.
yeah,
It's a good place to just like fulfill any type of fantasy. I guess that's why it's called Sin City, right?
yeah.
You can
Whatever.
take part of a different part of your human experience.
Yeah,
It's great, that place, and it's always good deals. You can always get good deals there.
exactly.
You
Well, that's
know,
how they get you because they know there's going to be so many people they cannot lose. If they
right?
give you chicken legs for nothing, then they're gonna soak somebody else next time, and you're gonna put the money in those machines.
Yeah, so it like offsets the cost, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
look at let's do it this way, right? Like if you're playing slot machines and you get a free beer, that's great, right? You're like, oh yeah, free beer. So
Yeah,
that's great because the drunker you get, the more like poor decisions you're gonna make, right? So you
yeah,
just keep playing the slot machines or just keep losing money. So you like so and you usually tip the waitress, right? $1. So you spend $1 anyway on the beer, and then you lose $6. So there you go. They just
exactly.
they tripled their money.
That crap table, dude. I never seen so many $100 bills disappear in that hall that quickly. You're like, Jesus, guys go crazy. Just throwing $100 bills on it, and you just shoof, 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 sliding in that slot, dude. And you keep on playing all night long.
What is the allure to gambling? What do you think is the allure to it?
I don't know. I think a lot of these people just try to. I don't know. I never had that kind of feel like to do that, but I think it's like part of the showing off, and it's just like a different kind of atmosphere too.
Because like those people who lost at the crap tables, do they feel like they lost or do they feel like they're playing?
No, I think they feel like they're playing. I don't feel they feel like they're losing because that if you kind of throw in the money, you win something, right? You always win something somehow. So you win
Eventually.
$600 and you put 2,000 in it, and you
Right.
feel happy,
Sure.
So I
But
think
you lost 1,400 in the process. But
sure,
yeah.
exactly.
Do you think that the casinos do that too as well? Like they want you to win a little bit to make you feel like you're winning so that you keep playing?
Well, I'm definitely on those little slot machines. I think there's some kind of program that every time you put that 600 coin in it, you win something back.
Sure.
you know, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
because
sure they've been like that. I don't know if it's anymore, but now you have only cards. You can even do the money. So you have cards, and it's even worse
sure. That's
because,
worse for you as a player because you don't
yeah,
have any control of that.
right.
You're just playing by what's taking out of your. But that could be. You know what would be kind of cool though is if you had like a. I'm sure the casinos wouldn't allow this, but let's say the casinos had this program where you can have like a rechargeable card. Like you could put a certain amount of money on that card. Let's say I don't know, $100,
I think that's what
and then
they
you, right, and then you could play as much as you want until that $100 either runs out or you win more money, and then you can
right.
cash it out.
That's what it is now.
It's like this.
Right.
Oh, I see. But
Yeah.
that's kind of safe for you because once the card runs out, you can't play anymore.
Well, I should go charge it again.
Well, that's true.
You always have to have a cash on you,
Sure.
but everything like all the machines are on the card, and the card gets money and increase money. So it's like a working card
Right.
that
Like
give you your winnings and your losses.
right. It's like a bank card kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can win money on it, but and you can also lose
Right.
money with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen that too. First of all, I don't understand that too. Like with the craps tables, those like Chevy Chase. I'll be rolling the dice.
20,000. Oh.
Yeah, dude. Like, man, that dude's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, to put so much money on a crap table and I remember when I went to Vegas one time and I was playing craps one time and
Yeah.
I didn't even roll the dice. I was just throwing money on the table. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like red 25, cross
Yeah,
26,
exactly.
black 35. I won something and then I lost everything at the end.
Right.
But damn, dude, I know people lose money all the time there, man.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
So that's all equal to that free beer.
right. Or that's why you can get that like 75% off at the World Buffet or something like that.
Exactly.
You know,
Free food.
yeah, because
Give this guy free food. He just lost $5,000.
yeah,
Give him a tortilla.
might as well give them free food.
Yeah, exactly. This guy deserves a taco. Don't you want a free taco? Yeah, I would love to have a free taco.
Or you give them 3 tacos or something, and you're like, the guy's like, I didn't lose. I got 3 tacos.
Exactly.
Oh my god, dude. But I mean, unless you're truly addicted, I'm sure those people don't think of it as losing.
No, definitely not.
I think of it as that they're just playing.
Yeah, they just playing.
That's wild to me, that mindset.
Yeah.
Unless you went with like self-control, you're like, look, I have $500 and I'm gonna gamble it, and whatever happens, happens. but
Yeah,
I
but
have that.
not too many those.
No, mostly people go with their own bank accounts. They don't go with like a backup plan.
No, they go there and lose it all.
Yeah, their whole paycheck for the month or something like that. That's
Yeah.
a bad way to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not even smart gambling.
Yeah.
I mean, you can gamble, right? But I mean, if you have that limit, at least you can. I mean, you can go to Las Vegas and not even gamble. There's so much stuff to do, like concerts and shopping, and you know.
A lot of people say, a lot of people like in these high businesses, I know them, and they go. So a lot of people go there with the limit. So, if your limit is 500, it's 500. Your limit is 2,000.
Right.
You spend your 2,000, have fun. And when that's done, you go home.
Sure. And whatever happens, happens, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't do that. I mean, if you can control yourself like that, a lot of people go there with expectation, will billions.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can get lucky. I mean, there's no way of not denying that. You can win.
Well, that's kind of the allure as well, because there is a possibility you can win. You can win a lot.
Yeah.
And it's true. You can win.
Well, I put $1, I got a car. I put $1, I got a car. Put it up. I get it, Russ.
Yeah. I like in that movie, dude. He's like, well, Clark, how much did you lose? Plane tickets, mortgage, 25 grand.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, dude. That's crazy, man. That dude got that guy got
well,
addicted.
everything he touched, he lost.
Right.
No luck at all on that guy.
No.
I see this guy winning cars by stuffing $1 in the machine. Here's 5 cars in a $5 bill,
Well, yeah. I mean, and once you get into that losing streak, right? I think that's what's detrimental, right? Because you're in a losing streak and you want to get that money back, so it makes you even gamble more, right?
And without anything to think about.
Yeah. If you go with a limit like
you have the problem in that point, see.
Right.
You have to go home.
Yeah, that's you have to go home. You have to stop. Otherwise you could get even deeper.
He said, take it. Yeah, take it.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, you just go home after that.
Yeah. You must leave.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're gonna end up deep.
And you're gonna have a bad experience about Vegas too.
Right.
Because I mean, you lost everything.
Cool. I mean, if you go like with that $500 and when you lose or win, you still have a backup plan. You still have more money.
Right.
You still have money. I mean, even if you lost that $500, you can it doesn't matter because you
go there with that experiment that you're gonna lose it.
Right.
It's like you buy yourself something. So what is it when you buy yourself a new suit? You lost the $5,000. What are you gonna do that suit for? It's gonna get full of bugs sometimes. You're not gonna fit in it, and you're gonna end up throwing it away, right?
Right.
So this is the same thing. You take 5,000, take it to Vegas, and buy yourself a game.
Right. Exactly.
And that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
So something like you buying something for that, and you buy
that. Yeah, if you treat it like that, then you're gonna have a much better experience.
Yeah, right. You buy yourself a game, so it's a right on the thing. It's cost 100, so that's your right for that moment.
Right. So like if it costs $100 to go on the roller coaster, well, that was your gamble, right? It's your $100, and that's your experience.
Right, exactly. So you should be treating it like that. I think that would be a healthy way to do it. But if you go there with something, I throw $5,000 at the crap table and come out as millionaire. I mean, that's a pretty sad situation you're in.
Yeah, I think if you go in that mindset, well, if you're putting $5,000 on the crap table, I think you have to evaluate your life choices at that moment. Because, dude, because once, I mean, because that's how, I mean, it's so depressing, right? Because you put let's say you have $5,000 and you put it on the crap table. That dude just takes that hook and shoves it in that hole. And you're like, what the fuck? And
can I throw the dice? No, it's been set already.
yeah, and you're waiting for 24 black. Well, dude. I mean, your odds are looking pretty good, man.
Yeah, I know.
To win any type of money.
Right.
But I mean, even if you like go for restaurants and anyway, right, for dinner and think of it, you're in Las Vegas. So
Right.
you go for a nice dinner. You have to think about that as also you're losing your money. I mean, anyway, right? Because when you go to a restaurant that's connected to the casino, for example, right?
Sure.
That money is getting recirculated into the casino's account.
The whole thing, yeah.
Right. So when you're at a restaurant that's in the casino, like for example, New York, you go to a steak restaurant that's in the casino. That's like gambling too, because that's part of the casino experience.
Right.
When you get a hotel in the casino, that's also like gambling. You also just gave the casino money, right? It's not like, I know that's like with every transaction around the world, but if I go to a restaurant somewhere else, I don't feel like I'm giving money to the casino. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this kind of, like, you can't think of it like that harsh either. You kind of have to you're going there to treat yourself of you're buying all that experience.
Right.
And they're doing really good job at it. I mean, it's not like a cheap scam. I mean, there's a lot of excitement. Like you said, there's shows, there is movies, there's a racetrack. I mean, there's a museum. There's all these shows for different reasons. I mean, you can do just about anything you can think of. You can do there. They have things for you. So it's entertainment kind of a business. When you find something you want to do, I mean, helicopter rides, I mean, you name it, balloon rides. I mean, there is all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, they have like
You can drive the Ferrari on the block. You can ride motorcycles on the block. You can go to pawn shop. You can
like
a whole bunch of
first class golf courses and
right, exactly.
I know there's lots of different experiences you can have.
So in that way, you have to treat it yourself as a great, kind of show place, and they're doing a really good job. I mean, you have to give it to them.
Yeah, they have world-class entertainment there.
Yeah, if you want to do it, then you can do it.
And sports and boxing and
betting on all this, on sports. People love to do that, betting on horses, betting on fights, hockey things, soccer. I mean, there is betting on everything. The betting is a big part of that.
I think sports betting is really popular.
Yeah, sure.
Or like Mandalay Bay, they have that indoor beach. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You feel like you're on the beach. That's awesome.
Well, they have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they have conventions.
Different.
Yeah. And they're all different themes, which makes it great. So it's not like all the hotels are the same.
Right.
They're all different themes. So you get a different you get a different. They're similar in the fact that they're all kind of built with the casino at the bottom and the hotel up top. But all the themes are different. So they all, you get a different feel. Like every casino has a different feel to it, You walk into the Paris hotel, you're underneath the Eiffel Tower, you feel like you're in France. You go across this boulevard and you're in New York, you're already on the streets of the Bronx. And
exactly.
or you go to the Excalibur, you're already now in the medieval ages. It's magical how they're all connected and how they each hotel gives you a different experience. It's
And big,
amazing.
all of those are a big, humongous mall for shopping. You can shop whatever you want. They have stores with everything in it.
Yeah,
That's another part of it. People go there shopping,
yeah, and there's tons of restaurants and food
right?
and oh, it's amazing place that yeah, you have world class shopping, world class dining, all on like a certain not that's Boulevard. If you think about it, is not very big compared to the world.
Right.
So
But the hotels are amazing too. You buy the free cheap room, but those rooms are amazing as well.
yeah, yeah.
You can
They don't.
you
It's
can
it's not like
upgrade yourself whatever you want, up to jacuzzi, up the ass in your room, and you name it. You can have whatever you want.
yeah, exactly. I mean, your fantasies can come true in a place like that.
Yeah, you buy yourself
Yeah,
a villa, and you're in the heaven.
yeah, exactly. You don't even have to leave it.
Yeah, exactly. You have everything catered to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about how much you want to spend.
Well, the sky's the limit at that point,
Exactly.
dude. Anyway, man.
Yeah.
So, I know you're a busy guy,
Yeah.
right?
We
Yeah,
did a good one.
yeah, yeah.
We
So,
had
uh,
2 hours.
yeah, we've been talking for 2 hours already, man. That's
So
pretty
that's a nice
good.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice podcast. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Thanks for being a part of the first episode of the brand new podcast.
All right. I'm very thankful.
And we're trying to do big things with the podcast. It's brand new, and oh, I would like to do this more often, man. We don't do this enough.
I know. So we have to get it started and promote it and get it up in the wave so people can enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean it's great to have a conversation. It's always good to have a conversation, man.
Exactly. That's a major part of human beings.
Yeah.
Talk the
So
things out.
yeah, exactly. So maybe we can get another podcast maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
If the weather is bad and you're stuck.
Exactly.
Uh,
So,
all right, man. So thanks for joining me today, and we'll have another conversation, man.
all right.
All
True.
right. Yeah. Have a good day. Take care. This has been a good episode of the State of Emergency podcast. We'll catch you in the next episode, and thanks for being on, man. Peace.